Oh, bestie, my bestie. Like, oh,
Oh,
captain, my captain, but better.
it's so much better.
Like, infinitely better.
Oddities. Stay strange.
Everybody, welcome back to Oddities. I'm Cassie.
I'm Kelly.
And welcome back to Strangetown. Da, 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 da. As
Mm.
per usual, you know the drill, friends, family, guys, gals, non binary pals, everybody in between. We have all of our information in the description: social media, link to our Patreon. If you're able to donate to our show, you can do so for as low as $1 a month and get a bonus episode every week where you get to see our bright, sunshiny faces being really cool together. If you like the embodiment of chaos, that's what those episodes are.
It's very much what those episodes are.
E-
Sheer chaos.
Every time. Like, at least it's consistent, right? With that. We also have, of course, of Cuervo, a link to our merch store. We have some new merch coming.
By the time this episode comes out, new merch will be coming.
We
Like
should
within
have
the
it.
week.
Yes, it's so
So,
exciting. And, um, oh, our website, too, of course. Please, I think, well, we're getting really close. I need my coworker to send in his spooky stories, but if anybody else wants to step up and do it, they can, too. We're really close to a listeners episode.
we are. We are there. We're
We're
basically
there.
there. We're just waiting on that
We're
last.
just waiting. We are. So, in the meantime, though, of course, if you have more stories to come in, like, we'll just do another one, too. I fucking, listeners episodes give me so much life. So
Here's the
much
thing.
life.
I would love to do a listeners episode here, like right about now, and then I love to start the year with a listeners episode. It's my
Yes,
favorite thing. It's like refreshing. It's the greatest way to start the year.
a
So
certain
keep
je
them
ne sais
coming in.
quoi.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Um, so, how's my bestie?
I'm doing good. This week was good.
Yes?
Yes. I'm not going to show the other thing. That was on Patreon for a reason. But,
Okay.
like, the highlight of my week, I will share it
Yes.
on here because I'm hoping she's still listening. I'm not going to shout her out because I didn't get her well, I'm not going to shout her out by name because I didn't get her permission.
Okay, yes,
And
right.
that was my bad. But if you're still listening, I hope you're still listening.
Please
I
still be
met
listening.
the most amazing human being at a baby shower this week.
This woman sounds so cool.
First off, I knew she was amazing because the baby shower thing was dinosaurs. This woman walks in, head to toe dinosaurs. She was wearing the most phenomenal overalls, dinosaurs.
Incredible. I wonder where she got them.
I don't know, but like literally phenomenal, right? She was bubbly, energetic, like everything about her was amazing. I loved her, right? And we were having a conversation, and she goes, "You have an incredible voice." And I was like, "Thank
Is
you.
that
You should listen to my podcast."
Joop, right there. Slipped it right in there. Well done, you. Is it not the most satisfying compliment, though?
That
Like,
was
it's like such
so
a.
kind.
Yes.
And I really like it made me feel so good about myself because I edit our episodes and I cringe at my voice
Bitch, that's how I used to be, too. Don't worry. I think it's just like it comes with the
constantly.
territory. Yeah.
So I had to, and immediately she hands me her phone to put our podcast in. So it was like that was so sweet too. And then we talk about the podcast, and she was so intrigued, and like she wanted to know more. And then she's like, "Oh my gosh, I crochet Mothman."
I
I knew
fucking.
right then and there. I hit the jackpot.
I adore her. I need her. And she sounds like sunshine. Human
She
sunshine.
is. She totally is human sunshine. She was amazing. I want to get together with her again, truly.
You
If you're
should.
listening, can you please reach out to me on Instagram?
Yes. Like, just whatever. Do it on the Oddities Instagram so I can creep in the background and watch this friendship form.
She wanted to know how we became friends, and she was, when I told her,
You were like, bitch, I have a story for you.
she loved it. She was so,
Oh, yes.
oh my gosh, I loved talking to this woman. It was phenomenal.
I'm so happy for you. That's so nice.
Yeah, it was a great moment. Like,
Please still be listening to us. Please hang out
so
with my bestie.
first off, when this happened, it was on Saturday, right? Wanted to message you immediately. You were at a wedding, so I did.
Sorry. Sorry.
And then it was like all week this has been on my head, and I was like, I could tell her, no, I need to save it for the podcast. I really need to save it for the podcast.
I
So
understand.
I did. I've been bursting. Like, it's been horrible.
So I have some news myself that I've been bursting. I've been hanging on to it last week as well. So last week we had the next meeting in the book club that I'm a part of.
Yeah.
There's now like 3 people from the book club who are going to listen to this shit. So hi guys. I hope you are listening. Yes, yes. And one of them started listening to us, I think, last month, and she told me she really enjoys us. And she follows us on Instagram now, and now I follow her on Instagram, and I'd like for us to be friends too.
I love that. I love
How
that.
exciting. So hi ladies, thank you for listening. Also, the book club was lit. It was a great time. I'm a big fan. I gotta say
Love
though,
that.
read the next book, and it's not due until not next month, but the month after. But like
You just couldn't help yourself.
I was like, I'm gonna just get ahead of the game because other people need to check this book out so they can read it beforehand. And I gotta be honest, I didn't like this one so much. So I'm gonna bring that type of energy to the discussion. But at least I'm honest. So anywho, we have ourselves like a little group of new listeners. Honestly, high five, bestie. We did a good job. We weren't even trying to market it, but like we did it. I love that for us.
We need to get business cards.
I know we keep talking about it, and we need to put a QR code on that shit and whatever. So yeah, we need to do this. Just like hand that shit out. Actually, what if we made our business cards in the shape of Mothman, and then instead of designs on the wings, it's just QR codes?
I'm not mad at that.
Thank you. I knew you'd appreciate it.
Marketing genius right here.
Somebody give this girl a raise. Or just a new job.
Or just follow us on Patreon.
Yeah, please, somebody make us famous already. So, well, that's happy, bestie. There's some other happy news too, but you shared that exclusively on the Patreon. But it's wonderful.
That was for the Patreon followers. We did talk about that literally on Patreon.
We did, literally. Yeah. And how's school going for the boys?
Good. They're adjusting well. Like,
okay, but is the shithead teacher being better? Oh no. I'm annoyed.
I'm noticing things. She's doing a lot better in certain places. And
is she trying?
She is trying.
Okay, so we have that. That's good. Yes. Trying to think for myself. Oh, right. So the wedding was great, but we saw somebody like almost die.
Saw some shit.
If you want a full rundown of that,
go to Patreon.
Join us on Patreon. That was something fucking else. Actually, now it's a funny story because I don't know. I hope he's okay. I don't know the outcome. But
we're about 93% sure he survived.
Yeah, probably. It was really something.
7% chance we're not sure. So
that was something else. It was just like, well, I'm not even gonna get into it. But then like the rest of the night, we were like, wow, the fragility of life. While on the dance floor, it was like so. It was just, I don't know what a combination of things. And the exciting news for me today is obviously I'm recording with you, which we always love. But beyond that, be spending my weekend decorating the outside for Halloween. It's it's September 21st, in case anybody was wondering.
Wonderful time of the
year. Oh, you know what else? I need to share this. So, as you know, for 2 years now, essentially, we've been trying to establish ourselves as the best house in the entire neighborhood.
Because it is.
This year, because it is, we've gone the extra mile. We have purchased the king-size candy bars.
Yes.
Nothing is going to solidify our position more than that.
No, that'll
and It's a
You guys
chronic
have
flaw.
the
I need to be the alpha. It is what it is.
you guys have the best decorations. You guys always have the best theme costumes. This year's gonna be phenomenal.
Mm.
Um, and then on top of it, now you've got the king size candy bars. I mean,
We sealed that deal. Did I told you what our theme is this year? The
yes, I
drum
have to
roll.
edit it out of the episode. Had to edit it out of the episode.
Do you think we should just share with the kids now? Do you think we're getting close enough, or do you think I should wait till October hits?
You gotta wait till like the official
The official
season.
start of Spookus season. All right.
Yep.
Here's what I failed to do though: is I failed to educate myself on.
You gotta start.
I know. I think maybe that's part of my weekend. Is I need to at least like because
You
we
gotta at
gotta
least
order the
start.
shit. Like yeah,
You gotta
So
have some knowledge.
this is serious business. We don't play games.
If I need to buy
And
something for you, let me know. You know I hit up that place a lot.
I know I love you for that. And do you know? Of course, I have a business trip for work on Halloween, but I
Is
spoke.
it on Halloween?
So it's the 29th through the 31st. I spoke with my manager and I was like, "Listen, this is non-negotiable. I need to be back for Halloween evening." And she was like, "Yeah, me too." So the agreement is this: I am catching a 6 a.m. flight on Halloween so that I can be home for trick or treat.
Yes.
I don't even have kids. I just need to be a part of handing out these goddamn king size candy bars. I need to see. I need to know. I need to taste
So
the
I guess my
victory.
question. Well, that's fair. I guess I didn't realize you guys were actually handing out candy on Halloween because usually
So
your neighborhood does it on a different
so
day.
because of how Halloween falls, it happens to be the trick or treat day for us this year. I was like, I can't miss this shit.
Okay, cool.
So, and she, God bless my manager, was like, same.
Same,
Like,
agreed.
I'm down. So, yeah, I'm leaving at 6 a.m. There better not be any fucking delays or I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to land in Baltimore at like 1, drive the hour and a half home, change, and get outside to start handing out candy, baby. We're here.
You're
And you
gonna
know I'm
sleep
getting to,
so hard.
and you know I'm gonna get the trashiest delivery for dinner that night. I'm gonna get well. So I mean, the tradition growing up was pizza, but now
Yeah.
last year Corey and I kind of started a new tradition, which is Joey's Chicken Shack. It's a wing. It's a wings
Hell
place.
yeah.
So I mean, I think that's what it's gonna be. And they do this really good sandwich called the Shack Attack, and it's like chicken nuggets and fries and like liquid cheese and I mean it's honestly it's a heart attack, but it's so freaking good. Mac and cheese bites.
I want mac and cheese bites.
The whole sandwich is amazing. It's really I die afterwards because I'm not supposed to eat any of it, but it's like worth it.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Take the next day off.
Yeah, I mean I don't make the rules,
You don't
so
make the rules. You traveled the day before. You gotta do what you gotta do.
I gotta do what I gotta do. So, oh my god, we blew past our standard 13. We're on 14.
Well, fuck us.
We're
Anyways.
extra intolerable today. So, bestie, should we get the party started?
Let's get the party started.
All right. You went first last time, I believe, yes?
Yes.
Should I kick us off with the final stop in Spooky Town, USA?
Yes.
All right, kids, we're wrapping up our small adventure of Spooky Town, USA. Today, I'm going to be telling you about the Witch of Yazoo.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! It's the Witch of Yazoo. So, I have to, I have to admit, when I first found this topic and I saw Yazoo, immediately my mind went to My Cousin Vinny when Ralph Macchio calls his mom from jail and he's like, "Mom, I'm in Wazoo." And you have to know with something like this, you have to know we're in the South. We're hanging out in the deep South. You have to know it. So
Yes.
here we are, May 25th, 1904. I remember it well. Yazoo City. I shit you not, that's what it's called. It was up in smoke. We have ourselves a devastating fire, which is like tragic. But anyway, it spread through the small Mississippi town, Mississippi Queen, destroyed the town's business district, causing around $200,000 worth of damage back then. And businesses and local residences were destroyed, around like 320 buildings, and a population estimated at 6,000 watched the town burn. Some people just love to watch the world burn, you know? So on the day of the fire, people claimed to have seen the work of mysteriously high and forceful winds, and they thought, this has to be a witch. We can't just have ourselves a windy day. So these winds, supposedly, they were guiding the flames from building to building, and they were abnormal for the spring, the time that this happened. And so the Yazoo residents were confused, they were dumbfounded, devastated. We had a touch of the spookala bookala going on. And so people, of course, started to speculate and generate ideas. And the actual cause of the fire is still unknown. But anywho, the next day, May 26th, some residents, citizens, whatever, they nut up and they're like, okay, we're gonna make a trip to the local Glenwood cemetery. They're like, hey kids, let's go on like a little field trip, shall we? They approach a specific plot marked by a gravestone that only reads TW. The air is thick with suspicion and spookala-bookalaness. And the buried person is still believed to have caused the Yazoo City fire. This person died exactly 20 years before the fire raged. Exactly, to the date. The community at the time did not welcome or know this TW. She was an elderly woman, driven out by the townspeople. She became like an outcast, a recluse, a mystery, a legend, some say a witch. And her story and her memory is one of the driving forces of local legend. People claim she was both hideous and wicked in life. Same. She settled in isolation along the banks of the Yazoo River, which still flows through downtown Yazoo. Woods and marsh align the banks of the Yazoo River, and that's where she chose to build her home. So she's like, okay, you guys are going to be assholes to me and call me hideous and whatever. I'm going to one-up you and I'm going to build my fucking home right in the bogs because fuck you guys. So everybody, of course, they go to this gravesite and they're like, it had to be her. It had to be this TW bitch. And so citizens discover, like there were chains, I guess, when she was buried that surrounded the grave. I guess like a little like sort of like a little barrier kind of thing. And they
Okay.
discovered that the chains had been disturbed. And the people of Yazoo City believed that after 20 years dead, she'd come back like she'd promised. Because apparently she had said to them at some point, in 20 years, I'll return and I'm going to burn this shit to the ground. And she had done so. Whoa.
Oh.
So let's get a little bit more into her story. So the witch of Yazoo, supposed witch, she dies May 25th, 1884. Local authorities chased her into the swamp. She sank in the quicksand and she died.
Oh.
So it goes. In truth, they say it was a boy who killed her. He says that he discovered, and so in truth, I should say in air quotes because this is bullshit. But he says he discovered the truth about her, and that is that she killed local fishermen, tortured them, and then killed them. And then he claimed to have seen her chanting something, staring off into nothing, waving her arms around. And next to her, he claimed, were the bodies of the two dead fishermen. And so the boys run for the authorities. I mean, the boy singular runs for the authorities. He like convinced them. They're like, yeah, she's a spooky bitch. This has to be the case. They reach her home. Supposedly, they discover skeletons in the home. But the woman herself and like, I guess 2 other bodies were missing. Not in the house, not in a shed, nobody knows, but nevertheless, they were on her property, the story says. She kept animals too. It's said that she had a bunch of cats, and they were all malnourished, surviving on fish and leaving fish bones all over the floor. Anyway, so it goes.
What an image.
I know, so it goes. They find her out, I guess, in the marshes or whatever. They chase her into the swamp, and she sinks in quicksand and dies. I'm going to go ahead and wager that she didn't actually kill anybody. These people were just assholes, chased her out of her home, and I could believe that she sank in quicksand and died. I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah.
Like, shit happens in swamps. I don't know. I don't think, though, that she murdered anybody. I think this little boy was probably an asshole. Probably did the thing that they do in, like, these ye old towns where they make up the shit about outcasts or whatever, and, you know, the authorities were like, you son of a bitch, I'm in. And then just, like, went after her. That's my take. Anywho. After all that happens, she's buried with a marker that reads TW in Glenwood. They place the chains around her grave as like a barrier to supposedly keep her there. Nobody knows why the chains broke after the fire. I'm going to go ahead and tell you why. It's because of these crazy winds that happened, probably. Just a hunch. So, anyway, there was a fire, there was this old woman, there was the wind, there was her supposed promise, and so the chains were meant to contain her hatred or whatever. It's still possible if you go to Yazoo today to see and touch the witch's grave. There's a new marker on it now, and it begins according to local legend, and it gives a whole rundown of this shit. And the new marker used to stand erect, but now it's laid flat across the grave facing upward. Probably because people were, my guess is, trying to dig up the grave or do something stupid because people are
These
fucking
people
assholes.
are stupid.
Right. Um, and her grave is the most popular site to visit in the entire cemetery, and it's a tourist attraction for locals and out of towners alike. Um, Rumors state that the witch still haunts Yazoo City. She is described as wearing a black hat and as kind of this like misty black figure, and she haunts the cemetery, the town, and the minds of the people. She's locally very famous. Older generations continue to pass her story down steadily. The story is like, I mean, it's becoming increasingly vague and weird, because the facts are either incomplete or they're lost or they're forgotten or they're replaced by some sort of generational bullshit gossip or what have you. But her story lives on regardless in some format, and therefore she's still with the town. But rumor has it that she will come back one day and she will burn down Yazoo City again when all of her chains are removed. So one day she'll be free. She will unleash her hatred for the town. And yeah, I mean, people just like repair the chains around her grave because they believe this shit. And so the chains are still there. And it's said that every time that they are repaired, they break shortly after. I don't know what this meant by shortly because it's probably just time and rust and bullshit,
Yeah.
but, that's the Witch of Yazoo.
Woohoo! I can't help myself.
Woohoo. I mean, I'm a big fan of this woman.
I support her.
I love her work. I support her work. And, I mean, any sort of witch tales are, like, near and dear to my heart for a variety of reasons. Like, I've always loved the Blair Witch, like, bullshit, even though it's, like, not really real. I mean, I've always loved, like, when we lived back in our last house, supposedly there was a witch that haunted the woods. I loved that story. It's just, like, it's a vibe. It hits. I think this woman's story is actually probably pretty tragic. Personally,
Yeah.
I don't think she was burning down the city at all or anything like that. I think people were just assholes.
People are just assholes.
I mean, if that's not humanity,
And they wanted
right?
a target.
Yeah, and so they picked. It's the age-old story of, oh, this person's a little different. Better go after them.
Yep.
That type of thing. Yeah. So, anywho, that's the Witch of Yazoo, and thus wraps up our little mini tour of Spooky Town, USA.
I loved our little mini tour. Let's go on it.
Hell yeah! You know what? Maybe I'll pick a few more locations, and we'll just let's do it.
Road trip.
I would love a road trip with you. We would have the best time.
The best time.
We absolutely would, and a lot of like good like snacks, good songs, good music. Absolutely.
Good company.
So-
What could we ask for?
What more could we ask for? Tell me, bestie, what have you for us today?
I have the night witches.
Whoa! It's a very witchy episode.
Yes.
A spookala
Yes, it
bookala. Okay, all right. Ooh, exciting. Okay.
So, it's not what you think, but it's still badass.
Okay, I still love it. Yeah.
So, this was a all-female night bomber regimen
Oh.
of World War II.
Oh, oh my god, I already love this. They called
Yep.
themselves this? I fucking love it. What an energy.
So, they were the 588th Night Bomber Regiment that dropped more than 23,000 tons of bombs on Nazi targets.
Ooh.
And in doing so, they became crucial to the Soviet asset in winning World War II.
Once again, tell me why this isn't covered in history books. We're annoyed. We're annoyed. Okay, carry on.
So, The squadron was the brainchild of Marina Raskova, known as the Soviet Amelia Earhart,
Oh my god. Okay, it's already happening.
famous not only as the first female navigator in the Soviet Air Force, but also for her many long distance flight records. She had been receiving letters from women all across the Soviet Union wanting to join World War II, an effort. While they had been allowed to participate in support roles, they were not allowed to be gunners or pilots or, anything else because they were women.
Because they were women,
So
right? The usual.
many had lost brothers or sweethearts or had been seen their homes or villages been ravaged. Seeing an opportunity, she petitioned Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin to let her form an all-female fighting squadron.
Stalin was like, yes, go for it.
On October 8th, 1941, Stalin gave orders to deploy 3 all-female Air Force units. The women would not only fly missions and drop bombs, they would return fire, making the Soviet Union the first nation to officially allow women to engage in combat. Previously, women could not help transfer planes and ammunition, after which the men took over.
So is this like, okay,
Yep.
0% trying to glorify Stalin here, but this was like a cool move.
Yeah, apparently.
I mean, he did like one thing, like kind of cool. Okay.
Yep. Raskva quickly started to fill out her teams. From more than 2,000 applications, she selected around 400 women for each of them 3 units. Most were students ranging from the ages of 17 to 26. So, like, let
Holy
that
shit.
sink in for a minute. These were young
Young.
women.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't
How
even know how to tie my
badass is that?
shoes. That's so badass. What the fuck was I doing when I was 17? Nothing.
Um, those selected moved to a small town north of Stalingrad and began training and at the Ingalls School of Aviation. They underwent highly compressed education, expected to learn in a few months what took most soldiers several years to grasp. Each
Of
recruit
course
had to
they did
train
it.
and perform as pilots, navigators, and maintenance and ground crew. So they not only had to learn the basics, they had to learn everything.
All right. And if
But
this
like,
isn't the age-old story, of course they could do it. Of
yeah,
course they could do it in a truncated time period. Why not?
beyond their steep learning curve, the women faced skepticism, of course.
Of course.
Um, some of the male military personnel who believed they added no value to the combat effort.
Well, okay. All right.
Raska did her best to prepare her women for these attitudes, but they still faced sexual harassment, long nights of grueling conditions. The men did not like little girls going to the front line. It was a man's thing,
Okay.
and that's how they were
Yeah.
treated.
And are we surprised by this? Not in the slightest.
So,
Thanks, boys.
the Germans are the ones who actually nicknamed them the Night Witches.
First of all,
Because,
the Germans could not possibly have given them a cooler name.
right?
Yeah.
Because the whooshing noise that their wooden planes made resembled that of a sweeping broom. The sound was the only warning of the Germans had. The planes were too small to show up on radar or on infrared locators. So, how
So
cool is that?
It's
Sorry.
so cool.
They actually
They
sounded like
witches. They were the
brooms.
cool.
Like,
I know, like fucking.
yeah.
We love it. We love the dedication to the theme.
They also never used radios, so radio locators couldn't pick them up either. They were basically ghosts.
Yeah, they're like surprise, bitch, and
They
then they
would
just bomb the shit
swoop
out of
in.
them. Yeah.
Drop, do
And
what
peace
they needed
out.
to do, and peace out.
I love it.
They became extremely successful.
I'm sure.
They flew under the cover of darkness and barebone plywood biplanes. They were brave. They braved bullets, frostbite in the air, while battling skepticism, of course, sexual harassment on the ground, and they were feared and hated so much by the Nazis.
I love
What power!
First of all, I'm such a bitch that I'm afraid to get on regular planes. And meanwhile, these women were like,
Like,
I'm gonna fly in
quite literally,
private.
hold my beer.
Yeah, like holy shit, they're so cool.
Um, it was a two-seater, open cockpit plane, never meant for combat. It was like a coffin on wings.
Oh my god.
That's how it was described. Um, they were given crap, right?
Of
Because
course
they
they
weren't
were.
expected to do much. Um, Flying at night, pilots endured freezing temperatures, wind, and frostbite. In the harsh Soviet winters, the planes became so cold, just touching them would rip off bare skin. This is the
Yikes.
conditions they had to deal with. Due to both planes' limited weight capacity, the military's limited funds, these pilots also lacked other luxury items their male counterparts enjoyed. Instead of parachutes, which were too heavy to carry, radar guns, radios, they were forced to use more limited tools such as rulers, stopwatches, flashlights, pencils. So yeah, they were allowed to fight, but they weren't expected to survive.
Oh my god. I don't.
They were also
I
given a
can't.
map and a compass. So they did have
Wow.
some navigating tools.
How very generous. Yes, okay, good.
There were some upsides to older aircraft. Their maximum speed was slower than the stall speed of a Nazi plane, which meant these wooden planes ironically could maneuver faster than the enemy,
Okay, cool, cool.
making them hard to target. They also could easily take off and land from most locations. The downside, when coming under the enemy fire, the pilots had to duck.
Oop!
Yep.
Okay.
By sending their planes into dives, almost none of the planes carried defense ammunition. If they happened to be hit by the bullets, which carry a harder charge, the wooden planes would burst into flames.
Oh my god.
Yep.
And they don't have parachutes.
Nope.
So they were just like, well, this is it.
Yep.
Wow.
Despite all of that, altogether, these daredevil herons flew more than 30,000 missions in the total, or about 800 per pilot and navigator. They lost a total of 30 pilots.
That's it.
That is it.
Oh
And
my god.
24 of the flyers were awarded the title Hero of the Soviet Union. Raskova, the mother of the movement.
Oh, love it.
Goosebumps.
Love it.
Died on January 4th, 1943, when she was finally sent to the front line. Her plane never made it. She was given the very first state funeral of World War II, and her ashes were buried in the Kremlin. Despite being the most highly decorated unit of the Soviet Air Force during the war, the Night Witches Regiment was disabled 6 months after the end of World War II. And when it came to the big Victory Day parade in the Moscow, they weren't included because it was decided their planes were too slow.
Oh my god, we had such a good thing going until this point.
They didn't want to
We
give them credit for everything they did. In the long run, they didn't want to give credit to the women
I'm so tired.
that
I'm
were
so
responsible
tired.
for everything.
We were on fire with the like her ashes being buried in the Kremlin. Like we had a good thing going there and then they pulled
Yep.
this shit. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed.
30,000 missions. A loss of total 30 pilots.
Incredible.
I. Phenomenal women of history. Yet again. Yet
So
again.
cool. Yet again.
It became. They were so feared and hated by the Nazis that German airmen who downed one was automatically awarded the prestigious Iron Cross medal because it was
Oh
that
god.
it was that hard
Wow.
to,
Wow.
to down them. But I don't know why this is. I mean,
Literally, why is this
this
not in all the
topic is
books?
brought to you again by cousin Nathan. Thank you, cousin Nathan.
Thank you, cousin Nathan.
But I've again never in my life, 30 years old, why have I not heard about these amazing women of history?
I have a fucking history degree. Why have I not heard about these amazing women of history? I'm annoyed.
The Soviet Amelia Earhart.
Dude, what a
Hello?
badass group. What a badass group. Oh my god. I'm sorry to them that they didn't get the recognition that they so deserve.
They were a huge part of World War II. A massive part of World War II.
Yeah. 30,000 missions, only 24 deaths. That's insane.
And, like, 30 deaths, 24 of the flyers were awarded. But
Even still,
still, like, I'm angry.
I mean, yeah, most days I am. This just gives me something new to be pissed off about. It's what we do.
You know, a lot of people are going, why are women so angry? This is why.
I wonder. I wonder fucking why.
This is
Yeah.
why we're angry. Right here.
God. What an incredible group. Bestie, thank you. And thank you, Cousin Nathan. Very cool. Okay. Dude, what a witchy episode.
Yeah, I thought you were going to like that, actually.
I love it. I love it. This was a nailed it. What a great episode. Fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I just panicked because I kicked my slipper, but for some reason I thought it was the cat. But she's on her chair behind me. It's good. As per usual, let us know what you think about the Witch of Yazoo. Let us know what you think about this incredible ladies.
The Night Witches.
The Night Witches. So cool. I hope they had really cool jackets. Like, I hope somebody in the group was like, "We need
Oh, all the
jackets."
photos are phenomenal.
I'm sure they are. I'm gonna look them up.
They all look so badass. They all are just amazing.
So
I probably
cool.
could have talked 3 hours on these women, if I'm going to be straightforward here.
Yeah, of course. But damn, what a cool episode. You know, until next time.
Stay strange.